What's up everyone, my name's Dutch and welcome to my Gears of War 4 controller and sensitivity guide. Today I'll be explaining what the controller settings mean and what you can do with them. Obviously a lot of this is personal preference, two magic words that are often used. There are no quote-unquote best settings, but there are a few things worth noting, but we'll get into those later in the video. Let's get started. The first sensitivity is look sensitivity. This is how fast your character looks without aiming or zooming in. The second is target sensitivity. This is whenever you're aiming down sight but not completely zoomed in. And the last is zoom sensitivity. This is when you're aiming down sight and zoomed all the way in. Used mostly with pistols and snipers. Aim acceleration allows you to adjust how fast you want your character to look or aim depending how far you press the stick into a direction. Simply put, if it's on 0, you accelerate very slowly. If it's on default, you'll turn faster. The inner and outer dead zones are how much your sticks react to input. On default, the inner is on 10, and this is because your sticks are always rested in the middle. Obviously, the outer is the opposite. If you turn these settings down or up, you could experience the phenomenon called drifting. This is when your aim starts to move by itself. Omnidirectional roll means you can roll in all 8 directions. Directions such as forward left or back right. If you turn this off, you can only roll in 4 directions. Forward, right, left, and back. I recommend you keep this on and keep the aim acceleration and dead zones at default. Turn your vibration off also. This will help you stay more accurate under fire. Next are the control schemes. Currently there are 5 control configurations. You have default, alternate, tournament, tournament alternate, and face trigger. I don't have to explain default, but I will explain the others. Alternate separates the cover and rotary run button instead of having both on the default button. It also swaps X with Y. Primarily used by players who don't want to accidentally roll and don't mind pressing 2 buttons to move instead of 1. Tournament is a scheme first introduced in Gears of War Ultimate Edition, and it serves as an alternative way of playing to claw, which is a way to hold your controller. What Tournament does is swap the A button with the left bumper. This way you can move your right stick with your thumb and take cover at the same time with the left bumper. Everything else stays the same. Tournament alternate is the same as the regular alternate, except for the LB and A swap. And the last scheme is face trigger. This scheme is primarily used by players who cannot use their hands and have to use their face muscles. I recommend players to use default or tournament if they can't play claw. But as with anything in life, it comes down to your personal preference. Now on to the factual differences between sensitivities. For one, it's a myth that higher sensitivities can't be as accurate as lower sensitivities at medium to long range. As an example, here I cross down an opponent on both the default settings and my own preferred settings, which are very high. So it's up to you what you're using for these gunfights. The close quarter aspect is different though. Fighting in CQC is a lot about prediction, reaction, and versatility. A higher sensitivity player will always have a bigger range of motion in a shorter time period. And you can see this in the examples. Lower sensitivities might be easier on the eyes and fingers, but it can and will cost you many battles against experienced players. Alright then, those are the need to know things about controller settings in Gears of War 4. Now I'm sure you're wondering what sensitivities I recommend you to use. For starters, I believe that faster is always better, but that's just me. If you're new to Gears, you should start off on at least 18 to 20 for your look, aim, and zoom sensitivities, and gradually build upwards to the mid-20s like 23 or 25. I also suggest you keep your zoom a little bit lower than your aim for those precise zoomed shots. If you're an experienced player, meaning you've played Gears since Gears of War 3, where they first introduced the numeral settings, then I suggest you stay above 22 at all times. Push your fingers to their limits and work on becoming more fluid and faster with your transitions and movements. So that's it for my guide. I hope it's helped you figure out what to change and what to enjoy more. And if it did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for future Gears 4 content. Leave a comment with your favorite settings and if you have any other questions. Once again, my name's Dutch and I'd like to thank you for watching. Take care and good luck.